How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And you?
Good. How's Spain?
Oh, Spain is we're on I'm just past month 4. And so Spain is awesome.
Yay.
There's some things that, it takes some getting used to, but so far so good for the most part.
You arrived in November?
So I arrived on my 50th birthday on October 26th. I know it's very poetic.
That's pretty cool.
I
Pretty
literally
cool that you
I
lined
I
that up like
touched
that.
I touched down with Alex on my 50th birthday. So,
The dog. That is a big reason why I'm talking to you because the dog.
yeah,
But
he's
is he there?
inside.
Look at this nice ass place you've got too. Damn, girl.
Yeah, we got really lucky. So, I guess you could, I mean, we Chris found it through a friend of his who actually used to live in Chicago, and he used to paint his motorcycles. And his girlfriend is in real estate and told Chris about this little village. I mean, there's legit 25,000 people here, and um, they all know each other. And the
Yeah.
average age is like, I would say about 50% of the population is over the age of 60.
Whoa.
And so she told Chris about it. It's called Shativa. It's about 45 minutes, I guess, southwest of like Valencia.
Okay.
And it's a huge, beautiful condo that we're renting. It's
Renting.
fully furnished, and
Oh
we are
my
paying total, it's 850 euro. So it's about give or take, $900.
God.
Yeah, and it's a
What a
three
steal.
bedroom, two bath. It's massive. Something like this in Chicago would probably be around $2,500.
I was just gonna say that looks like a
Yeah,
$2,500 rental
yeah.
easily. Oh my God.
Huge terrace out here. But yeah, it's great. So
So are you
yeah.
living off savings then? How are you paying for this?
So I am still working part-time. We are both here on a visa called the Digital Nomad Visa. And so
Okay.
I am still working for Kuma's as the director of catering and private events, mostly weddings, as you know. But I am doing sales, marketing. I am still I'm very hands-on with the customer, with the brides. Yesterday I was on the phone with a bride and her mother, and then right after a groom. And so I'm still very, very hands-on with the things of that nature. So again, the visa is very specific. It is, still working for Kuma's in the United States, but I've been,
So Illinois taxes.
well, so
How does this work out?
there is a treaty with Spain between the United States, and so I am not double taxed.
Okay.
However, Spanish taxes are actually I'm going to be paying a little bit more here, and so
Well,
that
$800
will,
rent.
yeah, I know. So there's a trade-off, healthcare
Oh yeah.
is included with so we pay a very low amount into Social Security, but it's healthcare is free. And so there is definitely some big pluses, and so yeah, that is the trade-off,
Do they give you a card or like you just walk in, you're
you get
do you have something
you
in your passport? What's your ID?
so we are actually, so it was actually last Tuesday we picked up our residence cards for Spain. So it's official that we are We're obviously there's a whole process. After 5 years, you're a temporary, like we're sort of I can't remember the name
Expat?
of
Like
the.
expat? It's called expat?
Yeah, yeah, but you after 5 years, you are considered, as long as you've been paying taxes and living in Spain, you have to be in Spain like 183 days a year. And you're, as long as you're paying your social security and you're paying your Spanish taxes, that's really all they care about. As long as you have this paper trail that you've been paying, all of these things to Spain, after 5 years, you are granted a temporary or some kind of permit, and then after 10 years, you're granted your like I could get a Spanish passport. So I'm a citizen. As
Would
Chris
you
is
like a
screaming,
dual citizen?
yeah, I would be a dual citizen.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how did you get, I'm just noticing like my plant might be busted. It's not, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Um, I forgot I switched them. I put the one that needed help here. So did you get this idea to go to Spain and do this because of this you found out about this deal with these cool apartment prices or
No, no,
like
no, no. So the whole so the Chris was really the catalyst to the push to move to Spain, and I just said fuck it, let's do it. How it became Spain is actually sort of threefold. Number one, how what country is it, for the best cost of living? Obviously, we don't want, there are some countries that the cost of living is very high, and it
yeah,
just doesn't make, it just didn't make sense. Number two, we wanted to be able to be in a location that we could easily sort of jet off to other areas.
yeah,
We were looking at Portugal, Lisbon, but it's
yes,
just so far off to the side, and there
yeah,
isn't, the high speed trains, even though obviously there's the cheap flights. But Spain has a really great public transportation system, the high
yes.
speed trains all over the place, and
It
it's
was
great for travel.
It is some of the most beautiful. It is the most beautiful public transportation system I've ever seen
Yep,
travel. It
it's
was so clean.
awesome.
You could like lick the floors. It was so clean.
It's not even just that, like in the public transportation, I mean, and I'll get into this like in a second, like, but so the third thing that we needed to sort of like wrap up the, where we were going to live is, I have a pit bull. And
Yes.
there are certain countries that are definitely not pit bull friendly, and they do not make it easy. So, we were
I didn't even
looking.
think about that.
Yeah, and so those were,
I thought it was just an American
it is. And
thing.
so the pit bull thing is, in Spain, they used to be, well, they're still sort of on this dangerous dog list. When I got Alex here, I had to bring him, and you have to bring all dogs through a vetting process, but
Absolutely.
there's additional steps that need to happen if you have dogs like pit bulls, Rottweilers,
These are large,
Dobermans.
but most
Yeah, and
of
so
these
like the
large.
dangerous dog breed. And I, I see people. Oh, and then all of those dogs have to be muzzled when you are out walking them. Now, me
At all
being me,
times.
yeah, but I'm not a big fan of following rules.
Yeah, we know.
However, we were pulled over during a walk one
Oh
day.
no. Okay. So
It's
yeah,
actually happened with me twice
of
and
course.
Chris once. And so I ended up getting him like this really stupid, like basic. It's literally just a strap that
The
goes around his.
string.
Yes, yes. Some
The ring
people
of
have like
thong.
those hardcore like muzzles, and I can't, and I have one. But as long as you just have this string around the muzzle, you're okay. But it's
Which
crazy. Yeah.
Poor dog. So
He
okay,
hates it.
so how, how much? Let's start with this. How much does
Yes,
something like this cost? Just the dog.
just
Well,
the dog.
none of anyone's business really, because like
Okay.
you can move with nothing, or you can bring a bunch of shit. So that's your
Right.
cost. But say you're just bringing your dog. What is
Okay.
that cost?
So to move a pit bull from the United States into Spain. So in the United States, I needed to get a USDA like certified letter. I needed to get very, very specific certificates from a vet that is USDA certified.
Certified.
I had to get, he had to be up to date on all his vaccinations, which I always do with him. And then he also needed to be microchipped, which he already had because Chi-Town Pity, who I'm repping, where I adopted him from, they already had all of those things in place. And so
Did you have
just
to
on
notify them, by the way?
I
Did you have to tell
yeah,
them
I
you
had to
adopted
do
from?
all of that stuff. But I did on the United States side, it was, let's just call it ballpark, like just for the permits, the vetting and all of that stuff, let's just call it $1,500.
Okay, that's
It's,
not really
it's fine. And then, we actually flew business class.
of course you did.
Um, and so
Bougie.
we had our own little sleeper pod, but I used miles for that. And FYI, usually at the boarding gate on the United States side and the Spain side, they are supposed to ask you for all of this paperwork, right?
Right.
So I get to O'Hare, and I have gate agents that are taking pictures with Alex.
Of
I
course.
have them in my phone. Not one person asked to see one piece of paper.
Isn't
Okay.
that how it is?
Then I land in Spain and I'm like, I've got my folder, I've got my
You're
luggage, I've got my
ready.
dog. I'm ready. I am ready for the gate
No
agent for
snafus.
customs. Yeah, I'm ready for the customs agent to like be, like get all of his, all of his stamps and his like not even joking, he looked at me, he looked at my dog, he goes, "Tu perro?" And I go, "See," and he stamped my passport and he sent me on my way. And I'm just like, motherfucker.
But
But you
you
have to.
know,
You don't know. You
because you
don't
know
know
if you
who's gonna
were
ask
missing
for what.
one, if you were missing one piece of dust, one
That's right.
arc of a letter
Right.
in there, the dog is being shipped out, and then
Yeah, that's
your
right. That's
heart
right.
can't risk that.
That's right. And so
That's
then when we got here, I needed to, so that was on the United States side. Then we get to Spain. Then I had to go, I found a vet very close by, and
awesome.
excuse me, Spaniards love their dogs. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are absolutely bonkers. Now, a lot of these people, they have all of these little like Yorkies and Pomeranians. You know what? A dog, I'm not a huge fan of like these little like Bob Barker dogs, but whatever. They love their dogs. They treat them like family. I live for that. So I found a vet real close by. I had to go and I had to bring all the paperwork there. Then they asked for all the paperwork.
There you
Then I
go.
had to register him. I had to get something that's called a pet passport. So now Alex can cross over into
He's
any
legal.
country,
Well, because
and
of course you're taking him
yeah,
everywhere
and
that you
so
do.
he can travel throughout Europe, and he is completely like he's a legal dog.
That's awesome.
He's a European citizen. He has his passport before I even have mine. But all of that stuff cost maybe like, I mean, I'm not even joking. It was shit here is so cheap. It was like $100 for all the things on this side. Then I
Nice.
had to go and register him for the police, and we're gonna say just for this podcast that I did that.
You did it, of course.
I totally did it. Yeah. Um, but you're supposed to register him with the police, and so just in case anything happens, they have a record.
Sure.
They
Oh
can they can
my,
get fucked.
this dog
Yeah.
is more
Yeah.
legit than like a lot of people in Europe.
Yeah, he is. But he's living the life in
Good.
Spain. He's just laying inside the door right now. He's sound asleep. So,
How long did the process from deciding you're obviously the dog was always a decision to bring.
yes.
Like you were not going without the dog. I know you.
Right.
Like no, you're not. I knew like you weren't gonna go. I just
Right.
knew as soon as you're
People
like, I'm
ask
going to Spain.
me. Yeah. People were asking me. They're like, "Well, what are you going to do with Alex?" And I'm like, "What do you mean what am I going to
Please,
do with Alex?"
he's getting a ticket and we're going
Yeah.
home.
That's right.
What do I, you don't, like, we're not those
Yeah.
people. They don't allow dogs in my apartment.
Right.
That's, yeah.
So, what were you going to ask?
So how long did this whole process take to get the dog legal?
I mean, I brought him to the vet. They went over the paperwork, and I got the pet passport and this little. It's like this little credit, like it's a credit card size thing that I actually have to walk with him and say that he's been registered. It took like a week. That's it.
So it's not like you bringing your minor child. We have to wait
No,
like
it's not. No.
weeks. That is that is amazing. So you're living in Spain. So then you're kind of like me in terms of your job. You just like work
Yes.
when you're needed or feel like,
That's
basically.
right. That's right. I
Hours.
sort of I sort of have it I have a schedule that I set for myself just because that's how I live. Like that's like I need some structure or
You
it
know,
just
routine is success,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, I have to. And but the thing I guess what a lot of people, even when I was in Chicago, I was doing a great deal of my job from home
Yeah.
already. And so making the transition from what I was doing there to here, obviously you're just not going to see me at, Greenhouse Loft
I never got to
anytime
anyway.
soon.
I never got to anyway, so it was
I know. And
not.
you know what? I'm still mad at Spencer for not linking us up and doing a wedding together, but that's fine.
That's so
Whatever.
well, it's not really him though, because he gives like the brides several
Oh,
choices. And
got it.
I'm their only female DJ. So
Yeah.
there's a reason why there's not a lot of female DJs for
Yeah.
weddings. Because I mean the bride is front and center as she should be.
Right. Oh,
So
you know what?
it
I've
takes a
never
brave
thought about that.
it takes a
Never
brave bride.
once. That's
You have
that's
to be
crazy. I've never even thought about that.
needs to be very secure because I mean
Oh,
people are
wow.
looking at me
That's
regardless. They have to
that
look at me. You're forced to
that
look.
is that is hilarious, and I can totally see that.
And
But
I'm not dumbing myself down.
yeah.
I've done that before where I tried to not make myself look, but like
Yeah, no, absolutely
I look
not.
what I look like, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like so what I do is like I'm up and I do my sort of morning routine with Alex and then I sit down on my laptop. The great thing is that
Wait, so you're, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt,
yeah.
but you're in an apartment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so
Yeah.
I can get a vision of like where you are.
Yeah, so I sit down and I work, and the great thing is that because I'm up early, like early-ish. I've made a transition. I used to wake up at like 6. Now I'm up at 8 just because people in Spain like I
Yes,
can
this is a late.
I'll get into all the Spain
Ooh.
things in a second, but like, I'm up at around 8. I get up on my laptop around 10. Well, it's in the middle of the night, so I can blast out all sorts of like I can get a ton of work done. Then I'll work out. I will go and do errands. I'll do, I'll so I have Spanish classes. I'm just drilling myself. Don't even I'm not talking about learning Spanish.
It's easy. Spanish is actually
And
such an easy language. You got
say
this.
what?
Spanish is
Uh,
it's easy. Once you figure out the conjugating and the root words, it translates to all the most of the languages because it's all Romance languages in Europe.
I am so glad that you find it easy. This
So,
old broad does not find it
oh,
easy. Oh, is Alex coming outside? Where is he? Where
where
are
is it?
you? There he is. There he is. Hi, Alex.
Oh,
Alex, come here.
our
Say
hero.
hi.
I want to
Right.
be
Oh,
Alex
this
when
is
I
gonna
grow up.
you. Alex, come here, buddy. Look at where are you?
There he
There you
is.
Oh gosh, he's smelling all the smells. All
How
right.
old, how old is he right now?
He was 8
Oh,
in
really?
January.
He's a
Yeah.
middle-aged man.
Yes, he is. He's the oldest in the house now. Chris is a close second. So yeah, so then so I go about my day, and then right around like let's just call it like 4 or 5. That's when I start getting email responses back.
Oh,
Then
because
I'll get on top of, yeah,
we're up
exactly.
behind you
And
from
then I'll
we're
get on top of those. But I try to. I try not to, put too much pressure on myself. I had a tendency of doing that a little bit in Chicago. And if I don't follow up with a bride, 30 seconds after the email,
it's because
life is not going to end. It may end briefly in her world, but in mine,
it's fun. Yes.
I'm trying to take it from like level here to like about level there. I'm probably about here. So it's still a work in progress, but I'm
Hey,
just
Spain
go
is doing its job, though. You are softening up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I have no choice. I'm here, and there's only so much that I can do, and I'm now really relying on, a group of people in Chicago that worked for me while I was there. We worked together. And so and now we're going right into another wedding season. And so fingers, but
It's
yeah, I mean, like my adjustments, in Spain have been, it's wild. It's wild. So in the town that I live in, and it really is a village.
there's no Walmart, there's no
Oh
Target.
Lord, no, 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 no. There's
What's the most American thing that we can get an idea of? Like, do you have a Starbucks?
no, they're all small.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all
McDonald's?
like a couple grocery stores, Mercadona, Consume, and then that is so. I mean, I can my if I walked my entire village on the outside, it's a 5K walk. That is how big it is. All right, that's it. It's 5K.
Does anyone speak
I'll
English?
so what it 3.3.5 miles
So
in a circle.
does anyone speak English?
Oh, does
In
anyone
this
speak
town?
English?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so the thing is about, because we're not a bigger city like Valencia, Alicante, Barcelona, Madrid, the language barrier is a little bit, there are people that speak English, but it's definitely not something that is common.
So,
There are probably 20 Americans and British people here. Um,
okay.
they and we know all of them.
Oh,
We
I'm
all
sure.
know each
I'm
other.
sure it only
All of
took a
us.
couple weeks.
All of us. Yeah. We, so learning Spanish is definitely something that I'm putting a lot of time and effort in
Absolutely. Yes.
to, and it's getting better. It's just, one of those things. It's hard, and I don't like doing hard
You have to
things.
practice it. You
You
have to
have to, I
practice.
practice every single day.
You're watching TV in
I,
Spanish
oh yeah,
with
I
the
watch,
subtitles on?
I do with the subtitles. I read Spanish books. I read aloud. I have Spanish classes. I have a study buddy.
Good.
His name's Rafa. I you have no idea. I mean, it is. I practice my grammar every day. I forget my grammar the next day. I practice it again. Sometimes it sinks in. My problem is when so phone calls is I dread them. When I see my phone ringing with a Spanish phone number, I my
Oh,
heart
no.
actually starts to like,
Yeah,
I it palpitates.
I can see that.
Because when you're face to face with someone, you can use the hands, the eye.
Yeah,
You can sort of be like, you can really. I mean, Chris is just learning Spanish, but he can have full conversations with the butcher across the street,
yeah.
and they like just from hand movements.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I get
But
it.
but I'm telling you, like, going back to, what is, Shativa like? There's like it's cafeterias. There's no, everything. Oh, nothing is open on Sunday.
Oh God.
Not even a grocery store. And then, everything is open on Monday, usually around 9 or 10 a.m. Everything closes around 2 or 3. Then it opens back up around 5 or 6. And then it's some restaurants don't even open until 7 or 8 p.m. And then they close at 10, 11, or 12. And
Okay.
that's it. Yeah. So a lot of times, restaurants, so for me, the biggest adjustment is, I mean, so the eating late thing has
Yeah.
always, it's sort of pounded into, like Americans, don't eat past 7 p.m. or don't
Yeah.
eat. Dude, that's when people don't even go out to dinner here until 10,
Oh,
10 p.m.
crazy.
I know. And so my father is actually coming here in 3 weeks.
Oh, he's gonna love it.
It's gonna be something. But that's gonna be, I'm not even joking. I'm just like, okay, Dad. I mean, this is a man who's like eating dinner at like 5 p.m. He's 80.
Oh,
And
he's
so,
that's right. I
yeah,
forget our parents are old.
we're old.
Yeah, I forget
My
we're
dad
older.
is
Yeah.
ancient. He's like,
I can't believe I'm
I
like
know.
almost 50.
I
This
know.
is crazy.
So I'm just like, I was trying to find restaurants that would open later, like a little bit
Yeah,
earlier, so we could like go to dinner a little bit earlier. I'm just like, oh my God. But besides that, I mean, everyone here in our little village, well, not everyone. I would say about 90% of everyone has been there. Everyone is so nice. They've been so welcoming. Now, there is a small percentage that obviously, and it's an older demographic.
Of
It's the
course.
abuelas around here.
Wait, less.
And
La
and
la
so and the
la.
reason is because they see this,
Sure. She's got a bunch of tattoos.
and they see the pit bull.
And the mean dog.
They see the big, mean, vicious dog, and the girl with a lot of ink, and they are not used to seeing that here.
I'm
And
sure.
so I am definitely a minority.
I'm sure.
Um,
It's very
and
different.
I get some looks. I get some looks. Most of the time, so I take the same route every day with Alex on our little walkies. I now know some of these people and they see me every single day, and some of
Sure.
the abuelas they've opened up a little bit.
Yeah, they just have to,
They
gauge
just,
you. They're just so
yeah.
smart.
I think now that we're on month 4 here, they realize that, the crazy tattooed Americans actually live here.
Yeah, they're just hanging
Um,
out.
yeah,
You're not trying to buy
yeah,
some weird real estate and do some weird reality show. Because
right.
like, I couldn't
I
imagine
have I have a
watching
real
TV as an
I have
old
a really
lady.
funny I have a really amusing story. So festivals, and obviously Navidad is a huge, I mean, the Christmas holidays around here are absolutely bonkers. And so I got here on October 26th. We moved to Shativa. We had, we were, at the end of October. So we came in like guns blazing into the holidays. And every single town, every village, every city around Spain, they go all out with the lights, with the
Okay.
nativity scenes, and all of this stuff. So
They're
anyhow,
Catholics.
yes, yes, Navidad, the
That's
the
great.
Three Kings. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I couldn't
But
keep.
my
I
dad is Polish Catholic, so I know
Okay, it's
Catholics really
crazy,
scoop it up on
right?
for Christmas. It's great.
So obviously, and I actually have always enjoyed Christmas. Chris as well, and so we sort of, we did a little tour of all these little cities. But one evening while we were walking around Shativa, minding our business, just chit chatting. I think Chris was on the phone with his brother. Obviously, we're talking our good old Chicagoan English, and all of a sudden this guy who was with his wife and kid are walking around this nativity scene. We hear this guy go, Americans? Points at us, Americans? His name's John. He's from Ohio. Really cool guy. He has a fencing gym in town. Apparently, he's like some
Fencing.
world class fencer.
Okay.
Um, so Chris and him become buddies. They go out
Mhm.
for beers, once every other week or something of that nature. And I guess the second time they went out, or the third time, whatever, John actually, John, finally, I think, I don't know how long he had been like holding on to this information, but John thought that Chris and I were in like the CIA or the FBI.
What?
because, because there's no Americans like that come and move to Shativa
Yeah,
like willingly.
that makes sense. It would weird me out. I'd be like, how did they and how did they
How did
find
we
out?
end up here? And
Yeah.
it's just the
Who are they hiding
story.
from?
Yeah. Right, or
What'd
what?
you do? What'd you do with your tattoos, Lisa?
And
Why did
I'm
you
just
run
like
from
thinking to
Chicago?
myself, we're like these two, like, and I mean, Chris and I
No,
are both tattooed, and like, we're definitely not in the CIA or FBI. I don't know why. Every time I think about that story, I find it so
if
amusing.
an American, and if an American was thinking that,
Yeah,
imagine what those poor abuelas are
I
thinking,
know,
man.
I
They
know,
have to be
right?
terrified of.
Um, I've met a really lovely woman. She's another dog lover. She's actually been in, so John's been here for 20 years. He was in
Oh
Madrid for
wow.
10, and in Shata for 10. There is another a woman that I go out for coffee with every other week. She's from Washington, D.C. She was in Valencia. However, the cost of living in the city of Valencia is through the roof. I mean, we're talking like Chicago prices, and it can be higher. And then also on top of that, with the taxes, it just is.
It's a
It
tourist,
gets to be, yeah, right,
tourist
exactly. Right now,
area,
it's the hot
so
spot.
it
Valencia
has
is
to.
the hot spot for expats and for tourists.
And it was beautiful and easy, so of
Right,
course.
exactly. But we've met, there's like, I'm not even joking. I can count on my fingers everyone. I know all the Americans' names.
That's
I know
awesome.
where they're from.
They're your
I know
family
why
now.
they're here. What?
They're your family now. Like you,
Yeah, yeah,
these are the
yeah.
people
But
that are going to look out for you,
that's right. And I
without
mean,
even
there's
trying.
yeah, there's it's definitely been it's been a wild ride so far. Everything here in Shativa is very it's very chill, but they still do love their festivals and doing all of the all of the things.
Amazing.
But it definitely makes all of like the bureaucracy things and all of the hoops that we as dealing with visa things, dealing with all of the paperwork that you have to do when you first arrive, and we're still doing things. It doesn't end for about 6 months. In a
Wow.
couple months, we actually have to turn in our we don't turn it in, but we have to get Spanish driver's licenses after being in the country for 6 months. But
Okay.
it's not just a here's our driver's license. We've been driving since we were 16. You actually have to take a driver's test.
Okay.
You and these
Fair.
and I guess these things are they're supposed to be really hard.
You look like you're stressing out. Like I can see
I
your
am.
face. You're starting to sweat.
I'm up here again. Um, we've had like, this laundry list of things, and every like in November it was like, this long, and now it's like about this long, and at the top is driver's
Oh
exam.
my God. Is
And
it
and a lot of
every
people
way?
fail it multiple times. And
Oh
not just,
no.
I know. And so that's going to be the next big thing. But then after that, it's just a matter of, there a lot of these. nothing. You have to actually have to go to town hall to pay your water and a water bill and your trash bill, like legit town hall. It has a bell. Like I feel like we're back in like if if I was alive in like 1950, I feel like this is where we are, somewhere trapped in like 1950s somewhere. You can do
That's
very few things online, and the things that you can do online, forget about it. Just forget about it, because the person who
explain.
made the
What are you talking
websites,
about?
yeah, the person who made these websites to get any, like the government website for Spain was made by a man who has absolutely zero technology experience. I mean,
This is the
you take the
government
city,
website.
like take cityofchicago.org and turn
Oh,
that,
cities.
make that in Spanish and then bring it back about 10 years.
Ay, 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 ay.
It's
Oh, that's
impossible.
funny. That's funny
Yeah.
though. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's a blast. It's a
so you have a
blast.
car, you clearly have a car there.
We have a car. We had so
How did
okay.
you do that?
So here's the thing with the car. A lot of people, when they move to Spain, one of the luxury items you consider a luxury item in a car in Spain is considered a luxury item. In the United
Sure.
States, it's a
Necessity.
necessity. You just have to have one, right?
Yeah.
Here it's a luxury item because of the massive amount of really great transportation. However, Chris and I want to take road trips with Alex. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, and we want, the trains are great, the buses are great, all of these things are super awesome. But when you have a 75
Pitbull.
pound pit bull,
Yeah,
it
already
makes it a
exhausted.
little difficult. And so we really needed, so for us it's not a luxury, it is a necessity.
Sure.
But we bought a car like you would Carvana, and so you just get on this
Smart.
website,
Yeah.
they deliver the car to you and you pay for it and call it a day.
That's awesome.
Insurance is extremely cheap.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's 250 euro. Actually, what was it? It's 500 euro annual.
Uh,
Yeah, so I mean, that was for Chris and I. Yeah, I mean,
really
our
cheap.
cable bill every month is 30 euro. Our cell phone is 30 euro.
Wow.
Our the one thing that's actually a little expensive is electric.
Huh.
Oh, this is fun. Oh, this you're gonna love. Hold on. So gas. How do you
Yeah,
heat your water in a majority of Spain? You ready?
yeah, let's
You
see.
heat it with
Oh,
propane tanks.
propane tank. What? How?
So we have propane tanks in Spain.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So every month, we there is a propane man that brings
Interesting.
around his truck, and you actually can place your order online, and it's easy. Wow, it's amazing. It's one of the two things that you can do that's really easy online. Ordering your propane tanks, and you hook those up, and that is how you get your hot water to shower with. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. It's
I,
it's it's one I'm telling you, what year is it? I don't even know. But that was one of the crazy things. But there's not a lot of places, especially in older villages, that have central air or central heat.
so
So
you right now because you're in an apartment or no?
yeah, so there's all of these. If you, I'll bring you inside here. If you take a look here, we have
How
all
close
of
are you to
the
water? How inland
uh,
are you?
30 minutes. So here,
Oh, so
right?
you get humid.
No, it's actually we live in the mountains.
Oh,
Yeah, we live. So
oh,
it's
nice.
actually pretty dry.
Good.
Yeah, so the problem is that so we're our unit, even though so we have this really nice big, you know what? Let me flip this
Nice.
around here. Do you want a tour?
Yeah, I love it.
All
This is
right, hold.
nice.
All right, hold on here. Now I have to figure out how to, for the cripe's sake.
Let's go,
Now I
Grandma.
have to shut up. I'm like, so we have this big
Oh,
terrace.
very
Yeah, we have
nice.
all of our, this is all of our, I know you're a plant
I'm
person.
loving them already. I'm like, ooh, I can make
Yeah.
cuttings for some of these.
So we have this big
This is not shared. This
terrace.
is private.
No, this is all ours, and it's really crazy. So we're on the first floor, and I believe this is an eight story.
Oh,
We have our like bicycles back here. Oh, by the way, so Chris had to get this huge American
of
grill. I
course you
mean,
did. Of course,
nothing
man.
screams we're Americans
Got a
than
big
the
ass.
largest grill on the planet.
What are you like ordering from Amazon? Like, how did that even?
Yeah,
How did you
we
find?
or yeah, something like that. Oh, and by the way, Amazon here, forget about getting things the next day. Or you
Oh
know what,
no.
if we do, it's very few and far between, but here I'm going to put some lights on. So if
Oh,
you're
it's so
looking here, these are all of our heating and air conditioning
yeah. I've
units.
seen
Those
those.
are in every single room.
I've seen those in my
Um,
stores too,
yeah,
and
I made a little workout area. So another
what a
luxury item,
space.
super luxury item. Okay, so every piece, so every apartment in Spain will come with a washing machine, but it is very, I would say about 95% of the population. Actually, I'm going to pop back outside. 95% of people dry their clothes
Yes,
on
yes. I
turbines.
knew it. Yes. So,
Well,
is that your life now?
oh no, 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 no.
Spoiled brat.
Because we live in an area that is, it's very strange. Apartments in Spain, especially in like by coastal Mediterranean, which we're not. We're up in the mountains, but they're built like caves, and so there's a lot of it's stone floors, and it's very cold,
Sure. Yeah.
stone walls, and it's meant to keep your place nice and cool in the summer because it gets very, very hot here.
Right.
Now back to this luxury item, but the thing is that the temperature here, it's sort of got this weird cold clothes so for the first month we were here, we would hang our clothes outside. It would take about 3 to 5 days for clothes to
Oh
dry,
no.
and then it would be all stiff, and we're just like, we can't do this.
No.
So we got a dryer.
Yes.
Oh baby,
Fancy.
look at that. No one has dryers here. It is, we are it like so no one has dryers. It took almost, I mean, I want to say like a month or two, to get this dryer here.
Sure.
It came from Valencia. It
And how
was
did you
just
install
it was a whole production to get this dryer here, and that's what takes up all of the electricity. It's this freaking dryer, but we can't. I'm sorry. It's horrible. Like,
it? Okay, no, that
all
you're
right,
right.
so now I'm gonna pop in here, and sorry, I'm usually really, really clean and organized, but here's the
Oh
kitchen.
my God, what a beautiful kitchen.
It's massive, and it's awesome. We go,
Uh,
and then here's Chris and Alex. Hi, Chris and
oh
Alex.
my
Oh,
God.
this is fun. This is really fun. Um,
Place.
so right across the street here,
Ooh,
um, so there is. This is
hello, Paris.
so right over there. This is our butcher.
Okay. Your
And
candlestick maker.
yeah. So Chris goes and buys meats from our butcher. This is Spanish learning table. See,
Oh,
it's absolute chaos. It's
good.
chaos. And that's how I feel about learning Spanish.
And just for
Um
anyone that's listening, there is no mess. It's like, I wish
And
my,
then we have two bedrooms, another bedroom, two
wow.
bathrooms. But yeah, it's great. We love it. I don't want to, it's one of those things that we got really lucky though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this place, it's not. it's really not super easy, and that was another issue we were running up against in Valencia.
Hmm.
There's a really big issue with a lot of people are coming in and buying all of these properties and turning them into Airbnbs.
That's what those old ladies are probably worried about too. If you're not a
Yes, that
criminal,
is.
you know.
And so they're actually cracking down on that in cities like Madrid, Barcelona, and
Yeah.
Malaga and Valencia. And they're actually putting in some new rules and regulations about short-term rental properties,
Okay.
because a lot of these you're not able to find any rentals, like
Rental,
long-term rentals.
like San
And
Francisco.
so we got really lucky, and that was another reason why, Chris sort of was, starting to give up with the search for a place in Valencia. Chris got here a month before I did, by the way, and
Right.
so he was sort of,
Okay.
and it was very frustrating doing it, trying to find a place to live in the while we were still in the United States. Impossible.
Impossible. You had to be
Impossible.
there in person.
Plus there's a lot of things, we had we had to we had to give our landlord 5 months in advance for our deposit, because
Damn.
we are Americans, and when we first got here, we didn't have our little tarjeta day. What is it? It's the T. It's called a TIE. It says now that we're temporary Spanish citizens, residents, right?
Okay.
We didn't have that. We just literally picked up that card last
Oh, he
week.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to get stuck with a rental, and
That's
then you
right.
guys get booted out of the country.
Yeah, and
Makes
so it's
sense.
one of those things that, and a lot of Americans have a really difficult time trying to find places. So we were very, very lucky to have found this place. And there's like I said, Chris's friend, his girlfriend really helped
That's amazing.
secure this place. But it was that was actually the biggest nightmare for this move.
Was
Everything else went
to secure
pretty.
the place. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
everything.
paperwork. It was just the domain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything else was just, um, I mean, it wasn't. Trust me when I say we hired a lawyer, a
Okay.
Spanish lawyer, to help
Okay.
us
Smart.
with our visa,
Okay.
because you hear horror stories
Yes,
of,
that was one of my what I wanted to ask. He's like, how
yeah.
did you get through this visa process so smoothly?
So we hired someone, and that
Okay.
was it was I guess all in. I would put it around $2,500.
Reasonable.
It
Reasonable.
is
That's
for, and the
not
reason.
astronomical.
No, and the reason, and there are some places that will charge, and that was for Chris and I.
Oh
There
wow.
are some
Okay.
places,
Very
yeah, there are
reasonable
some
then.
places that charge more
I'm sure.
per person. Um, but we decided to go this route. I actually found we started the process about a year prior of
Okay.
looking for someone. And okay, sorry, a
Okay, so
Spanish
you're
phone
not
number a Spanish phone number just came through, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. This is what happens. It's great. We started the process. We were a part of like a bunch of different Facebook groups.
oh okay. Facebook.
I know it sounds really random, but like those are like that is there's a really great community. It's called Spanish Digital Nomads. And you get on there, and we just started, looking, and Chris was, I mean, the amount of research that Chris did. I mean, it was, and it was a long process, and he had printed out all the paperwork, and he started doing it on his, like he's just like, okay, I got so overwhelmed, and the problem was is that he's working full time in Chicago, I'm working full time in Chicago. There was, a lot of these things you are just the documents are in Spanish, and you have to get
Yeah.
things translated, and you have to do this, and you have to submit this, and it's just like, and so the two of us agreed that it was just going to be, just let's just find someone to do this.
Yeah,
And
there's so much room for error between the two of you and a
right.
dog.
And it just and we didn't want to do it wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously there are some like some boxes that you can check that are super easy to do yourself. But it was just sort of like the last few things, and those were the things where it was just like holy shit, I have no idea what they need, what they're trying to say, where do they need to go? And so that's why we decided to hire someone, and they were awesome, and they got we didn't have any hitches in the giddy up. The document, everything was submitted, and in less than 10 days we were approved.
What kind of attorney is this called?
It was so they're just she it's and I she's just a lawyer, Luis Carr, and she's part of this other group, and they handle, like, they're experts in this digital nomad visa.
Okay.
And
No, it's just
so
Digital Nomad Visa experts
yeah,
if
yeah,
someone
and
wants to
so
Google that.
and now, there's other, now we're looking now there's other things that we need to do with taxes and so on and so forth, and we're having to, like, actually hire someone again, but it's what is necessary, because again it's just like
You want to get it right.
we want to get it right, and if we don't, we then could potentially get our visas taken away, and that ain't happening.
Muted. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want to get removed from the country.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we ended up hiring this company, and they were super great, and we found them through the Digital Nomad network, just on a random Facebook group.
Amazing.
Um yeah.
Facebook,
So
all
yes,
things.
I know. I
I
mean,
find I
trust me when I say, when we moved here, we removed ourselves from almost all of those groups. We're
what
just
those
like,
are not up to
because
snuff.
you realize that everyone's asking the same stupid
Yeah,
questions over and over and over
yeah,
again, and I'm just
we're
like, if
done.
I see one more person, and then I'm just like, wait a second, I think we were those people, but
Sure,
whatever. Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I This is a weird question, but
Okay.
how are you still getting your nails done?
Oh,
Where are you going?
girl.
Where are
First
you
of all, her
going?
name's Victoria. She speaks 6 languages, the bitch.
Of course she does.
And she's right down the street. Nails
Oh,
are a big deal here. Nail
really?
art is a big, like, these are just plain Jane for
Yeah,
her.
those are so plain for you. They're purple, by
So
the way.
plain, so plain. But this, like, when I first came here, I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna do them. I stopped doing all the other shit. Like, if I took my hair off, like my hat off, it's like I'm letting it. I'm just
Good.
it's
It's
just whatever. But you know what? The nails, it's just they're, and I'm telling you, she's from, is she from the Ukraine? I'm not even joking. This woman speaks 6 languages. English is not one. So once a month I get like an hour, like, Spanish. So, but she wants to learn English. And
perfect.
so it's great. But yeah, nail art here is a big deal. And I found her from oh God, here we go. When you have to get your cable TV hooked up, you have to go to the cable TV
Of course you do.
store. You can't do it online. God forbid. So you have to
That-
go
Is it next
walk
to the
down.
water? Is it
Yeah.
next to the
You
water
have
bill?
to go walk down the street, and you have to choose one of 3 cable companies. So we chose this one because it just happened to be open that day during this time frame. No, I'm not, this is how this goes down, all right? And the woman who was helping us had really nice nails, and I asked her who got and she said Victoria at that salon, and that is how that happened.
I love it.
So yeah, the
I
chick at the
love that.
nail at the cable company gave me her hookup. Victoria, I'm giving Victoria props. No one will ever see this from Shatava and be like, oh, I gotta go see
You,
Victoria.
you never know.
You
I'll
never
try.
know.
You
Yeah.
never
Chris
know.
has his barber. He has his, this young tattooed guy who owns this barber shop. Has his standing, haircut appointments. There's 2 gyms in town. But I mean, we have some stuff.
It's
Don't
cool.
get me wrong.
I know. I mean, I realize I was just joking with the nails, but at the same
Oh, no,
time,
no, no, no. There's some things
can you
like
pound to get your nails done, or is there a nail girl
there is
nearby?
I have a nail girl. I have a nail girl. I do. I do. I
That's
couldn't
awesome.
like I mean, and also like nails in Chicago cost 80 to $100 every 3 weeks for me. Here, 20 euro.
Oh man, you're living a life,
I know.
and
I
you eat
can't
all the good
not do
food.
it.
You're eating
Like,
all the good food. Next time I see you, you're probably gonna be like 3 times your size. You better be hiking with that dog.
so
I
so
wouldn't be able
we
to control myself over there.
well, this is the thing. When I first got here, I have a sweet tooth. Like it's no one's business, and Chris is the
Oh,
same
and the
way.
pastries, and the pastries
And
and the chocolates
so
over
I
there.
did. I gained. I'm gonna just say, let's just put it. Let's like make it a nice round 10. All right.
Oh, that's
I'm
not bad.
now losing it again because I can't. I'm not that. I'm not that girl. I'm one of those people. I mean, like I've always done the gym thing. How long have we known each other?
Yeah, I've always known you to be
I
fit.
mean, I've always done, like but I did. I got a little fluffy, and I blame this fucking bakery.
Oh, it's just,
Um,
I love bread. I love
yo,
European pastries. The
oh my
bread
God.
in Europe. I mean,
I mean, I
there's
could.
no butternut.
I could eat this shit every single
Just
day,
butter.
and I did. I did. And that's all of a sudden I'm just like, wait a second. We need to
I wouldn't be able
chill
to
on
control
this.
the cured meats.
Oh.
This it's
Well,
sangria.
Chris is the fan of the cured meats. I'm not a huge cured meat kind of girl,
I
but
love it.
like Chris likes the cured meats. But we've had to modify a little. We've had to cut out some of the baked goods. We splurge still, but we're
Well,
not like going there every day. I'm not
yeah.
even.
I mean, I would just be spoiling myself
Oh
rotten. I
my
would
God.
not.
It
I would be out of
was.
control. And also because like you said, like the average age of the people there are a little older than you.
Yeah.
So, I don't picture you fraternizing with too many people right now.
No.
It's just the two of you just kind of hanging out, checking things out.
Yeah.
So why would it? I mean, I would be like, let's eat, let's eat, let's eat,
Right.
let's eat.
And then right when we got here, we went on this little, like it was like a quad city tour. We were in Cordoba,
Sure.
Sevilla. We went back to Malaga. We were in Granada. Then we're up in Valencia. Then we're good. Oh, let's go to Alicante. And it's like restaurant and bakery city. And our favorite thing, we love good food, and we love finding like those little hole in the wall mom and pop,
Yes.
joints, and all of these places. That's all it is.
And it's not expensive.
It's
And they
not
serve you a
right.
lot of food
And it's
and
just
drink.
like, oh my God. And then like around the holidays, like the big thing is churros and chocolate. There
Oh,
there's a churro truck. I actually, you know what? I think I told Chris this like a couple weeks ago. I blame the churro truck for a few of those pounds that I gained.
oh my God.
But
That makes
these two guys drive up, and it's called the churreria, and they sell churros and chocolate. Churreria. I'm gonna
churreria.
take a picture of it.
Churreria. Churreria. That's right,
Shut.
right?
You know what? Shush. Take your Spanish. I
You're
know
getting
that you. And I'm gonna take a picture of it. And you know what? They're there every Wednesday. I know. Oh, so you want to know, this is sad. They're there every Wednesday from 6 to 9, and Sunday from 9 to till noon.
Grandma
That's when the
Lisa.
churro truck is there, and
So
they're
I'm
on the.
taking visitors.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this dog now. I'm going to Sweden at the
Oh,
end of the
let's
month.
see.
And
Let's see it. Let's see this
I
little.
did get a little. It was an accident. I got a little Bob Barker dog.
Oh no, that's not a Bob Barker. See,
He
Bob,
has a purse.
Bob Barkers are like 10 pounds and under.
He's
This is
under.
that's
This is a mini Dachshund
br-
Chihuahua mix.
put him up.
I thought he was bigger. It was
Put
just
your
fine.
put.
He's small.
Oh, he's cute.
Good guy. He is so good. He's pad trained though, so this is new for me because I
Oh,
grew up with outside
okay.
dogs. But you know what? I'm kind of digging it because when I wake up in the morning and go potty, he runs to his little pad on his own and he takes a little whiz and then we both go back to bed and I don't have to like, it's cold. It's 50 today.
Oh,
It's 50.
it's like a heat wave. It's 50 here
He
right
was
now.
shivering. He was
Yeah.
shivering on a walk. I had to buy him a sweater. I'm like my parents are Polish. Like dressing up the dogs is so. I'm still a cat owner, so this is new. I grew
Oh,
up with dogs, so I have an idea. And he's a dachshund,
right.
and I had a dachshund when I grew up, so I have an
Oh my
understanding.
God.
I keep
I love
forgetting to.
it.
I keep forgetting to bring treats with me. I'm trying again to go outside, so I brought the pee pad outside. I'm like, here, because I was gonna like yank it out from underneath.
How's that
Like,
going for you?
it hasn't
So
worked
there
yet.
there are a ton of dachshunds here, a ton.
Oh, I'm
That is
sure.
the preferred breed in Spain. That
They
is
are
it.
very cool dogs. They're so
Everywhere.
smart, so sweet.
Everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah. I just met one a dachshund puppy. His name is Smokey.
Oh,
His mom's name is Anastasia.
oh,
Yeah, she speaks English. She's here. Her boyfriend lives. This is. I'm telling you, I I could just be like, and this is this person. Everyone in this little village knows you.
that's
It's
good. It's safe.
yeah.
That's safe. It's cool, and it's not that cheesy American small town.
No, it's
Betty
not.
Crocker. It's
Yeah.
cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more as you live there longer, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
I am going to
Yeah,
see this.
please. I have my dad coming in 3 weeks. Chris has his brother coming at the end of April. The thing is, like what happens is, you have kids, you have jobs, everyone has a dog, and all of those things come into factors when, and it's not like you're just hopping on a plane and going up to Minneapolis.
No, I'm not
You're
living that life anymore. I'm
yeah.
not living that life anyway. That's not how.
So when you
One
get
day.
here, we're not going anywhere. We're
Yeah, so
here.
do you plan on I mean, I know it's hard to say, like where you're going to be in 10 years, but do you see yourself staying here?
Yeah, oh yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, we're probably so really, if you're looking at it from so we call this phase one. Phase one is,
Sure.
we have all of our, we're checking all the boxes. We're, trying to really figure out, are we going to stay in Shatava for another year? We don't know. I mean,
Right.
this is, we're going to go up to northern Spain. We're going to explore northern Spain. We're going to go pop over to Zaragoza, which is next is on the border of France and Spain. It's we're gonna explore some other areas around Spain because of the visa requirement. We do need to stay here for
In the
like this,
town?
not in the town, in Spain for
In Spain.
X amount of days per year to be the
Right.
Spanish tax paying residents. All of that. It's so there are these little rules and regulations, but it's you know we're going to do some traveling. When we started this adventure, Italy was really at the top of the list, but
Yeah, that's for
Italy
sure.
does not make it easy for you to get a visa there,
Yeah,
and especially Americans.
sure. Well,
And so but we love it. Chris
yeah, Italy
has
is so
a
my
place in his
favorite.
heart for Italy, and we did some extensive traveling there. And so who knows? But phase two will probably, be roll out over the next year or two, and that'll be, probably moving out of this area. And but who
Hold on, a dog
knows?
in its mouth.
We're just
Can
gonna
you calm
bounce
the dog?
around and travel and enjoy this next chapter.
Okay,
It's all
so
good.
do you do you think you're going to stay in Spain though, or do you see yourself maybe like checking
We
out
don't
other countries? You
We're
don't know.
we're
Oh,
definitely gonna be checking out, and we're gonna travel
cool.
everywhere.
Good for
That
you.
was, people ask, well, why did you move? And the timing of this move, people also, it comes into question a lot. Trust me when I say it had nothing to do with anything, except for the fact that this was something that,
Opportunity.
right,
Yeah.
the opportunity presented itself, and we could. And
Good.
it's one of those things that we definitely don't take for granted, and we realize that this isn't, something that is for everybody. I mean, when people are like, oh, like I've had friends reach out and be like, oh, how did you get there? I want to do it. And it's just like, this wasn't easy. I mean, it took a lot of planning, and a lot of, paperwork, and a lot of this, and we're still doing it now. But we definitely came here to travel and to, really see the rest of, Europe and beyond.
Wow.
And so that's what's up.
It's awesome. I'm really excited for you. It's cool to,
Yeah.
'cause as you saw, I tried to go to California and that I couldn't even get that to work out.
Stop.
I couldn't even get that. I couldn't even leave Chicago. So it's cool to see it like like it's working out what goes into it and how exciting, like just all the adventures that lay ahead. It's really cool. I'm
Yeah.
really excited too.
Yeah.
Thanks for dishing.
Of
Thanks for taking
course.
the time to tell me.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
We begin. Crowd up in the center, they watch for the rhythm. Watch